Poverty has been a massive problem in the United States for a very long time. With an ever-growing cost of living, it's no wonder that the poverty rate has seen growth in recent years. With an economy in shambles, American citizens are finding it harder than ever to make a living in the current state of the country. Millions of people around the world are barely even scraping by. But is that really all at the fault of our governments? At what point is it our own fault for the conditions we're subjected to? Well, I'm not really sure of that. But what I do know is one person who is entirely at fault for their own suffering. Enter Tophia Slidell, better known as Tophiachu. Tophiachu has been a public figure for a pretty long time, going all the way back to the days of Musical.ly, if you guys can even recognize that name anymore. Tophiachu is a 30-year-old woman from Albuquerque, New Mexico, whose rise to fame has mostly consisted of relatively unproblematic cringe TikToks of her duetting Asian men, among other things that would make even the most seasoned internet dweller shiver with embarrassment. That and her family, which I can only really describe as tumultuous, is what led her to infamy as a TikTok creator. So I think it's about time that we get to know the family. Starting off with my personal favorite character, we have the Roaches, or as many people refer to them, Roach Chu. It's very clear from multiple instances on Tophia's TikTok lives that the apartment that they used to live in is completely infested with roaches. Roach Chu makes several appearances in iconic places, such as on top of Tophia's Mountain Dew cup, or on her walls and cabinets. In a stream of Tophia playing Fortnite, we can see Roach Chu and their friends scavenging the nuclear wasteland that is Apartment Chu for anything to survive on. This really sucks though, because after seeing this, I don't think I'm gonna be able to ever crank 90s the same way again.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Our next character to enter the Tophiaverse is Papachu. Papachu, or Marie, is Tophia's mom, and is most well known for her constant coughing in almost every appearance she has.
Since I'm not allowed in the Discord, I'm just gonna say it on my live stream. These little ass kids pretending to be over the age of whatever age they put down are literally in the Discord talking about me sexually and then proceeding to call me daddy in a...
From what I understand, this is because of her asthma and her husband's adamance on smoking inside and lighting fires indoors. More on him later. Papachu hosts live streams on her own, but because she's insecure about her appearance, she sticks to a website called Stationhead, which is an audio-only streaming platform. Beyond coughing, she is also known for dogging on her husband for having mad play.
I love you.
You wanna fucking disrespect me? I will fucking cut your live off.
What happened?
Stop sticking your tongue out to the ladies, okay?
Okay.
Her oversharing, much like the rest of the family,
Tophia is a pedophile, obese nigger.
Mom!
and being Tophia's knight in shining armor anytime she receives criticism of any kind. The next Slidell family member is best known as Brother Chu. Donald Slidell Jr. is probably the least relevant member of the family, as he only makes stream appearances once every blue moon. Even he, though, is not safe from controversy. Papachu once revealed in a stream that Brother Chu had been abusive to his now ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, my son's an abuser. No, my son's not an abuser. He may have hit Angie like he said he did, but he said she hit him too.
I don't want to have it. Don't discuss that.
There doesn't seem to be a lot of evidence for this other than Papachu's admission, but I really wouldn't doubt it given his short temper and the rest of his family's consistent degenerative behavior. Speaking of, let's move to the most deranged of the family. There are very few words that can perfectly describe Papachu. Papachu is the dad of this lovely family, which is most obvious from his name, but even that isn't confirmed. Tophia was born several months before he and Papachu claimed to have even been together, though this could just be a mistake in their timeline. Donald Slidell Sr. is a diagnosed bipolar and a possible schizophrenic. People have speculated this because a lot of the unhinged he does on an almost daily basis, such as putting green painter's tape up all over Apartment-chu in the shape of crosses. Because he's bipolar, Papachu can collect social security checks through disability, meaning he is the only one in the house that actually provides any source of income besides Tophiachu whenever she's begging for money on TikTok and GoFundMe. Papachu also has what I guess is an alter ego called Ezekiah Mordecai Forsario, along with a business, ironically enough, called Slidell Financial Services. If you're wondering, this company is pretty much worthless, as is apparent from the family's state of being. Papachu also hosts lives on TikTok, where he picked up the habit of flirting with audience members and licking towards the camera, which I totally condone because any Sigma is a good Sigma. Beyond the licking and flirting though, other pastimes of his consist of lighting objects ablaze inside the house, as you might remember from before, and liking copious amounts of porn on Twitter, along with posting pics, likely to Tophia and the family's horror.
Come over here and kiss me on my hot mouth. I'm feeling romantical.
Something that I dare to say is possibly more horrifying than stumbling upon photos of your father's member is the story of the Slidell family dog, Hershey. Hershey is a creature which only exists out of pure rage and spite of those who should be the ones to care for her. She's probably the most angry animal I have ever seen in my life, and it's pretty clear why. Besides training her to pee in old McDonald's cups and on pee pads, the family has completely neglected the animal and has even gone on to say that they don't own a leash for her, meaning that she has probably spent her entire life inside because they lived in an apartment before the motel that they moved to later. Because of her dog constantly peeing in McDonald's cups, I'm sure you can see where this is heading, Tophia has made the mistake at least once of drinking Hershey's fucking piss. Hershey lives in a constant state of fear, growling and barking at anyone at all hours of the day because of the physical abuse that she has been forced to endure. I must warn you, the following clip is really disturbing, so skip ahead to this timestamp if animal abuse isn't something that you really want to hear.
I'll put my link down below and my discount.
I think under the chairs.
Hello. My name is Brittany.
This one is much less graphic, but here she hits Hershey with a brush and then just casually vomits on the fucking floor. But whatever, I guess. Jesus Christ.
Let go! Stop it! You cannot have that!
Now that the whole Chu crew has been introduced, it's about time that we talk about all of the controversy that they've gotten themselves into. As I said at the start of the video, Tophiachu originally gained her notoriety from posting cringe talks, which mostly consisted of her thirsting over Asian men. Tophia has an obsession with K-pop and Asian people that has gone to such an extent that she actually caused a creator called Wesley Boba to abandon social media because she was stalking him. Unsurprisingly though, Tophia's obsession with Asian people extends much farther than romantic attraction. Tophia's search history was once exposed to a stream full of viewers, and it showed that she had frequently searched for the terms Asian teen and ass fingering on X videos. In another instance, she was caught with her pants down, pun absolutely intended, with the gay version of Pornhub open in a Safari tab. It really does seem like addiction to porn runs in the family. On that note, remember how I said that Papachu was the only one in the family who provided any kind of income? Well, that's not completely true. Tophia worked at Dunkin' Donuts for a brief period before being fired for bad hygiene, as stated in a live stream. This seems to be a consistent problem because even Papachu has had a problem with it before. Tophia has talked about a time when she was profiled for being fat whenever she tried to apply at McDonald's. She stated that they told her she should apply online, which, excluded from her knowledge apparently, is standard for businesses like McDonald's.
I got discriminated a lot. See, people don't understand. If I was to be here or to go to a job and ask for an application and record them without their knowledge, to literally show people just how I was treated, because I was treated before, they would look at me and be like, oh, you have to apply online. My looks literally factored into me getting a job. I'm like, what does looks matter when it comes to McDonald's?
She has since stated that she does not intend on getting a job because she shouldn't have to work, given that she's famous on TikTok, even though her family is barely scraping by and has been for a very long time. Tophia has had multiple breakdowns live for everyone to see, and the most notable instance of this happening is during a stream with another creator called Aunt Karen, who went straight for the throat of Tophiachu and called her out for scamming her viewers with GoFundMe, her fetishization of Asian people, nice, and for being racist too. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that.
They're lucky they don't get sent back to where they came from. Someone, I can't remember who said it. I think it was that Latina actress or something. She was literally talking about how people treat Mexicans. First of all, racism, racist. Racist means racist towards a race. They're a nationality. So think again before you use racism. So why are you going to say this outrageous stuff and not want people to know? Stop telling me to go back to Mexico when you're trying to cancel me for the very same thing. Then proceed to call me a beaner like so. Excuse me. I apologize. I didn't mean to say this, sir. But someone referred to me as the B word. I apologize. Referred to me as the B word and then told me to go back to Mexico.
Something else that is probably worth noting is Tophia's mafia boss's daughter era, as many people like to call it. For a long period of time, Tophia would post probably the most abominable videos I have ever seen of her role-playing as a mafia boss's daughter, the likes of which, again, were frequently duetted with Asian men. She's got a goal, and it's clear she's gonna do whatever she can to make it happen. While we're on the topic of being disgusted beyond imagination, I think it's a good time to bring up that cup that Roach Chu was crawling all over. This is Tophiachu's purple tumbler cup, and it's apparent from this clip that she probably never washes it. We can clearly see her take a whiff, lurch back in disgust, and then pour the fucking Mountain Dew anyway. So cute! In this story, we really only have two main characters, and those are Tophiachu and Papachu. Tophia for the reasons we just discussed, and Papa for others. At this point, we're well aware that Papachu is a deranged animal. However, what I failed to talk about before are some of the more unsavory things he said online.
Beginning at age 16, smoking and will be legal. Anyone 16 and older can visit, obtain porn, and smoke. Prostitution is to be legalized. I want the streets full of prostitutes. I have my reasons. Make it happen, government, around the world.
If Tophia's life were an anime, all of this would just be filler or character arcs written to allow the audience to get an understanding of what our protagonists are like. These episodes in the Tophiaverse are like the meat attached to the skeleton of plot that the show follows. That being said, it's about time we get into the timeline of all of the significant events that have happened leading to now. On November 28th, 2022, it's revealed that Papachu hasn't been paying rent for some time now, and the Slidells now owe over $2,000 in rent.
Tophia gets evicted.
Huh? We're screwed.
What?
He hasn't been paying the rent. We owe $2,000. 3-day notice of non-payment. I told you they were piling it up.
Why?
Because they added up because of COVID. We owe a lot of rent. It piled up.
The website that said we didn't know anything.
Well, we owe that. I told you he wasn't paying the rent. No, I can't.
On January 16th, 2023, Papachu is arrested for false imprisonment after resisting police and withholding his family inside until they are forced to deploy tear gas on him, at which point they were finally able to leave. On January 19th of 2023, even though they are on the brink of being evicted, Tophiachu and Brother Chu go to Comic-Con where they spend hundreds of dollars instead of paying rent. This was also, by the way, a mere few days after Papachu being tear gas. The first Aunt Karen livestream was held on January 23rd, 2023. On February 25th, 2023, having been staying inside a house with no running water or heat in the summit of winter, the Slidells are forced to move out of Apartment Chu. Rest in peace. On March 1st, the second Aunt Karen livestream took place.
Do you a serious question, do you love yourself at all?
Yes, I do.
You don't. You don't. And here's why I know you don't. Because the moment a man comes to my house uninvited and people on the internet is sending that man.
On October 7th, 2023, Papachu is arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and criminal trespassing. On October 15th, Brother Chu is spotted alongside a car that they may have been living out of at the time.
I was rolling up on this car and I was like, ooh, what the fuck is this? It's Tophia's brother, y'all. I'm not able to let's just hope that he can't see my ass. Okay. It's him. It's fucking him. Look.
On November 7th, 2023, Papachu is arrested for armed robbery, and it is speculated that this is because he was trying to get something to eat because he has been living in much worse conditions than the rest of the family. From December 17th, 2023 to January 4th, 2024, Tophia started fostering a kitten named Peaches, which would eventually be adopted by Brother Chu, who eventually rehomed the animal after a barrage of complaints. The abuse subjected to Peaches would include them starving him by only feeding him dog food. If you guys don't own cats, this is a problem because dog food is much harder and bigger so that it can scrape away plaque from the dog's teeth, but the cat's teeth are much smaller so they have softer food so that their teeth aren't damaged. Peach's starvation would reach a point where he would attempt to steal food from the family, and in one instance, he would make sounds that I have literally never heard come from a cat because of how distressed he was. There is also alleged physical abuse, which I don't really have any definitive proof of this, but it would certainly fit the bill. As someone who is more partial to cats than dogs, this is extremely upsetting to hear, so skip to this timestamp if you aren't comfortable listening to the clips.
She's gonna attack you if you take it away. That's what she does. she's holding the baby. She's She's holding the bacon with two hands. She just robbed my bacon.
Absolutely despicable. Sometime in late December of 2023, Tophiachu started obsessing over another TikTok creator known as Shoddy Bay. From what I understand, Tophia and Shoddy Bay have had a kind of similar start on TikTok, but Shoddy Bay is successful and apparently bought a $2 million mansion or something. Shoddy Bay has done a couple of things before that she has been forced to apologize for, which Tophia hates because she apologizes for stuff and people still hate her, even though shit happens with her like every week. On January 19th, 2024, Mamu and Tophiachu are spotted at Comic-Con again, even though they are homeless, and that brings us to today.
Sophie's new look.
So, hi everyone. Ezekiah, you look beautiful. You look beautiful like that, Tophia. Ezekiah, Mordecai, Fusaria. Hi.
Lord.
And that brings us to today. The Slidells are truly an enigma. They're riddled with problematic past actions, disgusting living habits, and just being so lazy that it pisses you off. I researched, scripted, and edited this video myself, so if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, and if you like my videos, maybe consider subscribing. Any kind of support for the hard work I do to make these videos will be greatly appreciated. I'd like to give a shout out to this commenter for suggesting that I make a video about Tophiachu. Thank you for the suggestion, and I hope you enjoyed the video. But with that, my name is Hyrugel, and I'd like to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!